And good evening and welcome to the November Volunteer Forum, coming to you live from the Seymour DMO workshop, where we're going to be hearing some great tips and tricks from our DMOs, as well as having a bit of a look around our workshop. So many of you might be thinking, well, what does a DMO do and where do they operate from? So tonight we're going to actually find out. I'd like to start off by acknowledging the traditional owners to which we come to you tonight and pay my respects to the Tanarong people and their elders past and present, and recognising the strength and resilience of First Nations people in our land, and I welcome any Aboriginal elders of other communities that might be watching tonight. Well, you know what? You know what breaks a DMO out in utter cold sweat is when someone goes and does something like this. So lots on tonight, a lot of equipment, and I might have a hand at trying to fix this old banger here. In the meantime, let's see what's going up on tonight's show. Well, lots to talk about and some great things to be seeing this evening on tonight's forum. As usual, we're here with a panel of experts here, sitting here with me this evening, as well as our fantastic live audience this evening from District 12 and surrounds. Give us a wave and a cheer. Yay! We'll get an energetic one of these days. So let's introduce the panellists this evening. Welcome, Dan. Thanks for coming on this evening.
Good, thanks, Chief. Thanks.
Riley.
Thanks for inviting me.
No, not a problem at all. It's good to have you on. Well, I reckon we'll have a bit of a chat there earlier. Maddison, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to hear a little bit more about your story
Yes.
the way on. Now, a man that generally probably needs no introduction, particularly to the southeast of the region, who thinks he's going to bump me off in the Facebook Live stakes, but I've got another thing for you, Steve. Welcome, my friend.
G'day, Chief.
My video compare Facebook Live challenger.
Challenge accepted.
Excellent. You do a fantastic job there,
Thank
my
you.
friend. I know you've got lots of followings and doing some fantastic stuff in the southeast and the Bairnsdale DMO. So well done. Well, welcome, panel. So here we are in the DMO workshop in Seymour. Dan, tell us a bit about the workshop and what it does.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a bit of an overview about the DMO network, I guess, Chief. So we work for the fleet operations team. We've got a network of 13 workshops that look after the fleet. We've got divided that in two. So we've got 7 workshops in the east of the state and 6 in the west. I'm actually cross-border here tonight. I'm in the east because my offsider, Cal Gleeson, is on annual leave at the moment, so I'm filling in for him. We have a team of 81 DMOs, 12 apprentices, 15 casual drivers and 12 admin support officers that come in to help us out one day a week. And I guess we undertake the preventative maintenance, which is the servicing programs, and corrective maintenance programs, so the faults and issues that the troops have in the field with the vehicles. Modifications to just over 2,360 odd appliances that we look after, and also you might notice over the left shoulder there we've got 86 that we look after for our friends at Fire Rescue Victoria. We also provide operational support in the field at incidents and interstate deployments, both for CFA, and we also at time to time have supported SES on interstate deployments. And also provide championship support for the local and state championships over the summertime period in the competitions. So also...
Did Dan leave anything off the list there?
I did.
The only thing that I was going to say is that our fleet's actually bigger than Linflux.
Yeah.
So
wow.
yeah, that's our monthly one this month is yeah, we like to compare ourselves with Linfox. So yeah, it's a pretty broad fleet across Victoria and yeah, working in an emergency environment. So it's pretty dynamic.
Yeah, right.
And the most important one is we provide 24/7 backup for the guys in the field, so after hours support.
So tell me about what that looks like, Riley. Like,
So being a DMO here for 4 years, being on the after hours call out thing, it comes down to it's not a life and death thing where you're stressed out, can't go anywhere, got to be on call, but it comes down to you get a vehicle and you just got to be that backup support. If there is an incident, you go out to the fire ground, support the volunteers. Blowing out radiators, checking, doing post and during fire inspections, keeping those vehicles up and running.
And so how long have you been with the DMOs?
I started here in June of 2022 as a first year apprentice, and throughout the 2 years following that, I transitioned through my apprenticeship into a position here as a full-time DMO.
Yeah, wow. And if anyone's out there watching or thinking about getting into the industry, what would your advice be?
I'd say I highly recommend it. Coming through your apprenticeship, you're through an employment agency, which helps out the CFA a lot through payroll, and they organise all your TAFE expenses and all that sort of nitty gritty of it all, and CFA will host your apprenticeship. And I did 3 years as an apprentice here, and I can't speak any highly of it.
Yeah, nice. Steve, you're OIC, so a lot of people understand we've got officers in charge of brigades, and so you're an OIC of a DMO. Talk us through what that means and what your typical day would involve.
So no 2 days are the same, Chief. It's so my role is the workshop manager, so I look after every aspect. So I look after the HR, the planning, the logistics. Obviously I've got some really good support. I've got a leading hand and a really good team. So one thing about DMOs is they just make stuff happen. Really good, really talented, really motivated, and I think we do it for good volunteers. We wouldn't do this job if it wasn't for these volunteers that, they do an amazing job for Victoria. So, DMOs are really passionate about what we do, providing safe appliances for our volunteers. So, no 2 days are the same. You can have some preventative servicing lined up, and then at a whim you might have to change and be adaptable. And we look after the alpine environment, so we might have to go to Mount Hotham because the alpine pumper might have a track that's loose, or we might have to go to Malakuta because the pump doesn't start. So, hopefully if we get our corrective servicing right to start with, then that shouldn't happen, but, these things do happen from time to time, so, yeah.
Well, before we get talking to you, Maddison, and hear your story, I've got a little game I want to play with you all, so you ready? So it's 5 things in 5 seconds. You can't think about it, I just want to hear it, and whoever I point to, you got to answer the question, all right? You ready to go? Rip into it, right. Messiest job? You're out. Cleanest job?
Office.
Hardest job?
Brakes.
Messiest job?
Oil and filter.
Very good. Well done. Thanks for giving us a bit of insight. We're going to be talking to you more throughout the evening. As I said, the program is based around the DMOs, what you do, and the workshop here. So, but in the meantime, I'm going to turn and talk to Maddison here. So, welcome, Maddison. So you're apprentice with CFA.
Yes.
Yeah. And you've got a bit of a story to tell. I think we've got a bit of an introductory video to that story, so we'll watch that and then we'll come back and have a bit of a chat. So let's have a look at Maddison's story.
I started my apprenticeship this time last year, so November, and I was inspired to work for the CFA because I had family members and friends that had previously worked for the CFA and deemed that it was a really good opportunity. My favourite part is probably that no day is the same day. I did valve clearances on one of the trucks pretty early on, which most people don't really get that opportunity. Quite a few weeks later, I went to trade school and the topic was valve clearances, and I was the only one that knew how to do it. So it was really good to show and teach everybody else. Worked 7 days of my apprenticeship, and you know, was starting to get to know everyone and everything. And then had my accident and had to have 3 months off work because I was in intensive care in Melbourne and had a neck brace, and I don't think I can crawl under trucks with a neck brace on. I did have lots of enthusiasm from my co-workers, like that I could continue and do it.
She's got a good work ethic. She's good at learning. She's like a sponge. She'll just open up and start soaking in all the information you can give her. She'll take it. And especially after her accident, she's come back and she's excelled in everything that she's done.
Well, what a fantastic story. So, Maddison, probably people watching that right now and thinking, hearing a lot about the accident.
Yes.
We don't need to go into too big detail, but what happened there?
So I was driving to work and just lost control and rolled 3 times.
Wow.
Over a barrier, and then don't remember much else, but I was airlifted to the Alfred in Melbourne and underwent 3 surgeries and spent 2 weeks in ICU. So
Wow. And here you are today on the panel.
yes, here I am.
Yeah, and so having gone through, I guess, that adversity and recovering and getting back on your feet, you've recently been recognised with a bit of award. So finalists in the Apprenticeship Employment Network Overcoming Adversity Award. So 1 of 3 finalists. So congratulations, a great achievement.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah, a really, really great achievement. So unfortunately, we don't have too many female DMOs and females in this space. What I guess thought to you, hey, I want to go and do my apprenticeship and be with CFA?
Well, throughout my childhood, I always grew up with men in sheds, and they'd always be working on stuff, and it just sparked my interest to go and do something. And I did a Cert 2 in automotive throughout high school. So I thought, well, what better place to do it than the CFA? And if I can get a job with the CFA, it would be a really good opportunity.
And how are you finding it?
It's really good. It's, like I said, no day is the same. There's always a different fault, different problem. It's just, it's awesome.
So tell me, what was it like when obviously went into class? You'd done a couple of valve clearances with the DMOs here, and then went into class. You're sort of sitting there like the Cheshire cat, going, "Ha ha! I've got one over you, boys."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like, "That's how you do it," and show them how to do it, and they were really impressed.
That's good. So anyone that's, again, Riley talked about anyone that might be interested, but I guess I'm more keen to, for any of the women out there that might be thinking about getting into what is probably still a very male-dominated industry, what would your advice be to them?
Just give it a go. The boys in the workshop, they're awesome. Like, if you need help with anything, they're always there. And they treat you pretty much the same as the other co-workers. And
Well done, well done. And I think, Steve, that's sort of been something that I know you're very passionate about, because you've been running some women's programs around fleet maintenance, operating fleet, that sort of stuff. Do you want to tell us about it?
So we actually did a night at the workshop where we invited the South East Region Women's Network in, just so they could ask questions about trucks and how they operate, and those types of technical questions in a safe environment where sometimes they might not feel that's supported in an environment with their colleagues, with men. So we just ran a session and we talked about all things. We had a really good night. Had a truck up on the hoist. We went under it, talked about some components and how they operate. And I think we all got a lot out of that night. So I think that diversity, it makes CFA what it is. So
there's probably a few naysayers out there, Maddison, saying, you need to be a big, strong, burly bloke to be a mechanical officer. What would you say to that?
there's always a way. You can undo a bolt in many different ways that, yeah, can do it.
So your most favourite task as a DMO?
Probably oil and filter services. They're pretty straightforward, like you know what you're doing, you've got your list, and yeah.
Your least favourite?
I haven't had a least favourite yet. They're all pretty good.
I can see Steve's mind ticking over there going, oh, I think
Wheel bearings.
Wheel bearings? Yeah, wheel bearings. What about for you?
What about a night on the panel, Matty?
Yeah. She's doing well, all right. Doing very well. Riley, what about you, mate? What's easiest job, best job?
Best job, I reckon, well, I've got a fabrication background before this job and love getting into, doing a bit of welding and stuff. There's a few trucks around and we've had to replace pumps on, upgrade pumps and have to change around the plumbing. So do a lot of welding and stuff. And I really enjoy that part of it all.
Worst job?
Yeah, I reckon I'll back up Steve. Yeah, wheel bearings, I reckon.
Dan, what about you?
I used to love the field work, Chief. I loved getting out in the field. I'm from the northwest, so get out in the rural stations, and they'd always call past for a chat. Sometimes you're the only face from CFA they might see for 12 months. So that was probably the best part of the job for me.
Worst one?
Swivel hubs. I said it before, but you cut me off.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Sorry. So, is it true? I think I might have said it before on a forum that the DMOs are the keepers of the secrets. There's not too much our volunteers won't open up to you about.
An old area manager once said to me, "If you want to know what's going on in CFA, go and talk to a DMO." It's probably as true now as it ever has been.
Yeah, because I think the issue is you are that connectivity piece between our brigades and the organisation in some aspects, because as you say, we are a large organisation, very diverse, dispersed in where we are, and there's not too many trucks and stations, I'm guessing, you guys have not been to in some way, shape or form. Yeah. So tell me about the after hours stuff. Like, what's the biggest? Who are we issuing the Mud Flap Award to? What's the biggest whoopsie that we've been out to?
There's never a day goes past, I don't think, where we don't shake our head and wonder how they did that. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
All right, Steve.
I didn't go, but legend has it that Malakuta rang up one Sunday morning and said, we can't select gears on the tanker. And the DMO got there, they flipped the cab and they found a diamond python wrapped around the gear linkages, which is apparently common in Malakuta. So pretty much not a DMO job. That's someone else can deal with that, I reckon. Another one was Commander Glenn Harrop rang me one day and he said, "What's the weirdest call out you've ever gotten?" So this conversation's not going well. And I said, "Well, I don't know why." And he said, "Barkhan's ultralight has just been hit by lightning on the way to a fire." So straight away I thought that wiring loom's not going to be great, but it actually survived pretty well.
Yeah,
so we
right.
put a battery in it, and the captain, Pete White, shout out to Pete at Buck, and I don't think he's been the same since.
Right.
Fair enough too.
And I'm hearing something about a snake and Barry Willock and batteries and. Haven't heard that one?
No, I haven't heard. We might have to throw out to the chat from someone for the northwest to solve that for us.
Well, all right. Well, if everyone knows the legend of the battery at Barry Willock, please put it into the chat. Looking forward to it. So, look, as I said, lots more to talk about this evening. Thank you, Maddison, for sharing your story, and congratulations again on your award finalist. It's a great achievement for you, and I really do hope that you are an inspiration for the young women out there that might be thinking about getting into the industry and one day making their way into a CFA District Mechanical Office to work with some great people on some great equipment.
Yeah.
So moving on to, I guess, a slightly different subject, very shortly we'll be talking more to our brigades and volunteers about what we're calling our Elevated Seasonal Response Initiative. And we did an announcement 2 weeks ago with the Minister and the Premier at the Ballarat Airport, where we announced an $11.6 million investment into CFA for this season. And that $11.6 million is for the funding of our Get Fire Ready initiative, as we know, right across the state during the month of October. Over 500 brigades opened their doors for tens of thousands of Victorians to come in and learn about fire safety. But there's also $1 million for the purchase of capital water storage initiatives, including bulk water initiatives, and then an amount of funds for bulk water cartage and strategic placement of that. So I'm going to throw a slide up on the screen. What we are seeking to do is strategically place bulk water in parts of the state where we know surface water is an issue at the moment. To quickly respond to fires, to ensure that our brigades are absolutely using the least amount of critical essential water from our community. So we don't want to be using people's drinking water. We don't want to be using, where we can, stock water. So the idea is that we can get bulk water to you quickly. In a way that's efficient. So keep an eye out. More information to come. As you can see, we're planning it for right across the state of Victoria, as we know things are still very dry, even though we have had some significant rain, and some more information will be coming out to brigades in the coming weeks. Well, it is Movember, and much to my wife's dismay, and I know she's watching tonight, so thank you, darling, that I didn't do Movember this year. Many men across our organisation have, and I see Steve Keating sitting in the audience here tonight wearing a fantastic Mo. Well done, my friend. To mark International Men's Day last Wednesday, we spoke to Anthony Rhodes and his sons Bailey and Cooper from the Melton Fire Brigade. They spoke to us about their involvement with CFA and what it means to be open and frank and honest with each other, and talk about, as men, what is troubling us and how to overcome adversity. So let's hear from the Rhodes boys and what it means for them from the Melton Fire Brigade.
As a little kid, I was always wanting to be around fire brigade, and it was, Dad was running, so I'd watch Dad run for years and years. You'd have whether it was a Friday night where they'd go down to the station just to be social, I'd be sitting at the door at 4:35, ready to go, knowing we had to leave, be there by 5. And Coop and I would be straight away at the door. We're going to the station. As a little kid, we'd both be at the track while Dad trained. We'd be in the lane we're sending now. We'd be trying to run the events, what they're doing. Obviously, trying to push a cart at 7 and 5. Not a good idea, but we've always been around it, and we've just followed what Dad's done. We've followed with him.
Yeah, from a young kid, as soon as I probably could walk and talk, I said it. To start with, I always said I was going to be a cop, but CFA volunteer itself, I was always going to be. Watching Dad do it, going to the station and meeting everybody, even the older blokes there now, it's a culture and a place that you just can't not be near. I love it.
It's a family atmosphere. They're both operational and competition sides. They're pretty active and they're good workers. The biggest thing we do is we talk. We're big on debrief. Sometimes you're in the car together, so we get the opportunity to talk on the way home, have a conversation. Their mum's pretty good. She's their rock. Not afraid to ask the questions, and we can pick up if things change. We have a pretty good network at Melton, so we're able to get support not just at home but also from people around the brigade.
It's probably a pretty good bond we've got. Obviously, we probably the first couple out the door, which is regularly, and we'll always be on the phone to each other. So I'm normally at the main station, they'll be at the south station, and we'll be on the phone to each other pretty quickly, knowing on the way to the station, and then as soon as we get home from a job or whatever, if we don't meet at one of the stations, probably a big thing that Dad's brought in since he became captain was the after actions. No matter what the job is, best simple as a little bin fire, like it's just a quick little chat in the truck or on the way back before we leave the job. But more, probably more family, just keep close with each other, keep on the phone quite regularly, and whether Cooper and I work together at the moment, so always in the car or always at work with each other, and then Dad sees us out on site regularly, so we keep pretty close with each other.
We're definitely there and we'll always listen, no matter what, with anybody, but as a family we will constantly have a phone call. Sometimes Bailey and I can be on the phone for 2.5 hours talking about anything, and then conversations just pop up, so it's all natural, and if we need to, we continue to talk. Sometimes it might even just be a bit of tough love, like, hey, move on, but then that's where the conversation strikes from. It's just getting that first word out.
International Men's Day, I think there's a lot of men out there that suffer, and not only men, women as well, but I think the men probably wear it harder. I always encourage people to talk. In our brigade, we have a lot of older members that have helped me when I first started, and I want to repay them simple things, make sure they're okay, check in with them, make sure they're involved in our fire brigade, even if they are retired or have stepped away from the brigade, that they're still a part of it, because you know, as leaders, as men and women, we have an obligation, I believe, to look after each other, but look after the people that actually gave us the opportunity to come into Fire Brigade and teach us. Men's health is important to me. Unfortunately, my dad committed suicide when I was a kid, and it's something that I've tried to make sure that people keep grounded. They've got that support around them, and you know, I don't want anyone to go through it. And I encourage people to reach out, look after people. I speak about it more commonly now. I was probably quiet for a long time, but I encourage people to look after each other. I don't want anyone to have to go through what people do through that circumstance.
In today's world, it's definitely a bit different to when I was younger, but being a man is someone that not only leads, but is there for everyone as a person. You can step up and you can be strong and confident in yourself. I think it was a little bit different, but it's definitely changing and is going in a good direction.
But the other part is, don't be afraid to reach out to your mates if you need to. We're human, and everyone, you know, whether they're quiet, they're the chirpy ones, just look out for your mates, because you never know when someone might need that phone call or that, you're okay, mate.
Well, thank you, Anthony, Bailey and Cooper, for telling us your story and the story of the Melton Fire Brigade. And yeah, as I said, we really appreciate you opening up and sharing your experiences. Well, I'm here with Steve, DMO extraordinaire, and we're underneath a 4.4 heavy. And Steve, talk to us about what we're just about to go through.
So I think, Chief, it's really critical that you know, volunteers understand the level of care we go to and what we do when we bring a truck in for a service. So we can ring the brigade up and say, hey, we're going to come and grab your truck, do a service on it. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. So they need to have a level of, you know, care and understand that we're going to go through these things with a fine-tooth comb. So
step us through.
Look, it's pretty daunting. Truck up on the hoist. So you know, it's sort of 15 tonne, but we sort of start from the front and underneath, and we work our way back. So we're looking at, you know, radiators, make sure there's no leaks. We're looking at the fan belts. We're looking at you know, all of our engine to make sure there's no oil leaks at an engine level.
This one looks pretty clean. It's
pretty good, yeah. It's done a little bit of work. It's dirty. It's not a brand new truck, but everything's dry. The seals are dry. There's no leaks. The tyres are good. You know, all our suspension's good. You know, and as you can see, there's a lot going on under here. So there's a lot for a DMO to work through when we actually run through an inspection. And this is just the underbody. So as we work our way through, and sorry, a bit hard
watch
for the
your
camera, but you know, we can see transmission and you know, tail shafts and exhausts, and there's a lot of stuff that we go through and inspect. You know, the bushes in the suspension. We grease up a tail shaft. This one's sealed, but that's okay. We do the levels in all of our transmissions cases, and just to make sure that they're not low in oil or they haven't sucked in some water, you know, with a training course or some, you know, some water that the truck's been through. We look for any damage on the chassis. We look for leaks on fuel filters, you know, steps. There's a lot more to a truck, to a fire truck than just the truck. So you can see all the stuff that we add on to this, the lagging around our airlines to make sure that, you know, they can cope with the heat of a fire.
So most people may not have been able to see that, so I might just get you to point that out so we can actually see.
So you can see the silver lagging over the airlines, and that just protects the airlines. They're made of rubber, which is how the truck would normally operate on a road, but obviously with what we do with it in a paddock environment in the bush where there's heat and there's fire, we need to protect that more than your average truck doing a delivery up and down the road. So you can just see you know, the extent of the stuff that we look at when we do this. You know, everything's lagged. We make sure things are not rubbing. This thing has got to go to battle with our people on it. So, you know, we take a lot of care and a lot of pride in to make sure that this thing's the very best thing that it can be. And, you know, we want to make sure that it's safe and provide, you know, that tool for our people to use.
So if this was a bit of an older truck, maybe a 3.2.
Yep.
What would you expect to see, and what are some of the things that you really want to hone in and focus in on when you get it up on the hoist?
They're all the same. So, different models have different things that are common, a bit like a car, door handle that might come loose. So, Hinos might do one thing, whereas an Isuzu, you might say, hey, we need to really look at that on this model. But, they all get the same care, whether they're, brand new or they're 30 years old. They still, they've got to provide the same service to our people and our community. So, we just make sure that they're fit for duty, and
and you must love working with the hoist. It wasn't that long ago where we would have been standing in a pit, probably with a bit of oil up on our feet and that sort of stuff. It's keeping a workshop nice and clean and and things very orderly, which I'm going to assure you this workshop is. It really does go to improving health and safety for our DMOs as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you can imagine, doing a clutch and taking a transmission out, how much easier and safer it is for our people to do that on a hoist as opposed to trying to do that rolling around on the ground, So, it provides us with an extra level of our OH&S as well.
So some might be asking out there, what's the most common thing that the trucks come in with, aside from, I guess, their annual service? Or what do you commonly find when you're doing the annual checks and services?
That's a tough question. Look, different areas of the state probably suffer different things. So, up in the Mallee area, when they're driving through crop, really, creates an issue with our radiators getting clogged up. So, but we can suffer from different things in different areas. So, I've got some areas that are fairly remote in eastern Victoria, and rats are a thing that we suffer from because the truck's nice and warm. Ration packs, rats like ration packs. So
when you run out of the ration pack, you look for the wiring loom.
Absolutely, yeah. Gear knobs, they like gear knobs, and radiator hoses for some reason. So we especially look for that type of thing and take extra care under the dashboard and that sort of stuff, looking for rat damage. So. Yeah.
A belly full of glycol. I couldn't think of anything worse. All right. So this is under the truck. So thanks for showing us through what you do under. We'll now make our way over to Chris, who's going to walk us around a medium appliance and talk us through what they do there. So we'll just do a quick hot mic swap as we do that. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, over to you. What have you got there? And this is about weekly checks, yeah?
Yes, that's right. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown of the weekly checks for that the brigades can do, which is all in relation to the second page of the logbook, which the logbooks are issued to each appliance.
So why would we do a weekly check, I guess, is
to make sure there's no issues with the truck, make sure it's in good condition, make sure there's no leaks, make sure... And if there is any issues, or if you're unsure about something, report
I guess
because
ordinarily, if you're in a normal situation, you check around the vehicle, make sure it was roadworthy before getting in the vehicle and driving. But as we know, our people are called to fire and emergencies. You've got to get there quick. So we need to make sure that the vehicle is regularly checked and ready to respond. So, all right, Chris, take us through a weekly check and what it looks like.
So one of the first things that the checks are is just check underneath the vehicle, make sure there's no fluid leaks, oil leaks, water leaks, and that goes right from the front of the truck down to the rear of the truck, where you've got your engine, got your water tank, got your two diffs, and you've got your transmission as well. And then you move up, check the windscreen, make sure there's no damage to the windscreen, make sure there's no wiper blades falling off or anything like that. Across to mirrors, make sure there's no damage to mirrors or anything like that. The body in general, make sure there's hadn't been banged up or anything like that, scratches or anything like that. And if there is, like I said, if there is any issues, that just gets reported to the DMOs. One of the other checks that we do is stowage checks, which is one of the lockers here. And that's just stowage and inventory and any other equipment that's relevant to the vehicle. And then we move down to the rear of the truck. It's the same for the pumps. So we want to make sure all the pumps are in working order, make sure there's no fluid leaks or anything like that, make sure the hoses are in good condition. Lights and sirens, make sure all the warning devices work, everything like that. And most importantly, go for a drive in it, make sure it's got fuel in it and go for a drive.
So what's the minimum distance that brigade should be taking their truck on a run if they're going to do a maintenance run?
30 kilometres, we'd call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Excellent. So anything else that you would recommend?
Yep. So if we go back to the crew area, that's just to make sure up here, make sure the crew area is all clean, not going to trip over anything like that. And then also up in the cabin.
Mm-hmm. So what would you be looking for in the cabin?
Once again, trip hazards or anything like that. Seatbelts. Seatbelts are a good one to check.
Yep. So how would you do that check?
Make sure they're retracted for that.
Yep. And then that one's there. Yep.
Good example. Perfect.
So that's anything in the front. The front that you would get them to check, in the driver's compartment.
Yeah. Once again, go back to intercoms. Sorry, warning devices in the cabin, low-level water warning system, things like that.
So if you had one bit of advice for brigades around doing their weekly check, like the absolutely do not forget, must do, what would it be?
Definitely the 30k drive.
The 30k drive, yep.
Yeah, very, very important. And fluid leaks. And more so, if there is anything that you're unsure about, just report it to the DMOs or ask the question.
So speaking of that, we've done the check, we've found something that we might think might be broken or doesn't seem quite right to us. What do we do then? What's the next steps?
Either call the DMOs or the WorkZone, the new app that they're using at the moment to fault reporting.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks, Chris, for taking us around the vehicle and showing us how to do a quick and simple, easily weekly check. And as you said, if you do find something that you are not quite sure about, always our friendly DMOs are available on the end of the phone, or you can lodge a maintenance request through the WorkZone app. And the details available on how to do that is freely available through members online. Well, thanks, Chris. And it is that time again where Rohan is going to take us through some important improvements and changes in the training space. So over to you, Rohan.
Thanks, Chief, and welcome to the November training update. It's great to be able to join you today for the last forum for this year. So what I'd like to do is to talk to you about a couple of things that are occurring in our communications within training that we're working on, and also a couple of packages that I think our members will be really keen to understand that are available. So firstly, on the Learning Hub or the LMS, we've got two packages around renewable energy solutions. So firstly, there's a hydrogen awareness package and an electric vehicle awareness package on the Learning Hub. So both of those are online packages and members can work their way through that both those packages to gain a better understanding of the risks and challenges and the response to both hydrogen and electric vehicles. We also have on members online under the renewable energy page a solar response video package, which whilst not a training package, it does give members an understanding of some of the considerations around responding to solar farms across Victoria. The other area I want to talk about tonight is around communications within training, and we've been working with the MLDs in the regions to really try and focus on ensuring we're getting the message across in changes in training and updates in training to share with our members at the right level so they can understand what things are affecting them. So there's a couple of things we've done. I want to take my hat off to the comms team. We've got a new look training page on members online. And I have to say, it's a lot easier to navigate. It has all of the information on one page and then guides members through that entry page. So it has links to the last training update. So if you've missed one of these sessions, you can scroll back through and see what we've been talking about in previous months. It has an easy access to the Learning Hub or the LMS. It has easy access to our pathways. So it'll guide people to our pathways, and I'll talk a little bit more about our pathways in a minute. And it also guides us to our immersive learning or where we're up to with virtual reality. The other one which is really important on there is the button around complaints and feedback, and where members have concerns or want to provide feedback on a course, that on the front page is the access to do that. Has information to training campus information, so our 8 campuses across the state will give you guidance on what's in those training campuses and how to access them. It also includes a training newsletter and previous editions. So our training newsletter is a monthly newsletter that we've put out through the regions and through headquarters, through ODT. It includes a range of things that is happening in training. We have focused it on people who are heavily involved in training, so our brigade training coordinators, group training coordinators, instructors, and also our L&D teams in the field. So that training newsletter includes a bit of a spiel from me, so a little bit of an update on some things that I like people to keep their focus on or attention on. It includes things like what courses are currently under development, what handovers are due, so when courses are due to be released to the regions, and the information around scheduling handovers to get that information. Has a section around compliance corner, we call it, or the compliance corner chat, which is really around our training governance to meet our RTO requirements. It gives access to instructors for professional development sessions that we are planning to run and continuing to run into the coming months. Has changes in training processes, things around our LMS, so news that is really affecting our members in a training portfolio. And it also has a members profile. So we like to highlight and celebrate the great work from teams across the state in training. So we also have a members profile in that area. The other part I spoke about earlier was the training pathway. So if members click on the training pathway, you'll see a different look pathway now. We've taken some feedback from our members and looked at redeveloping what it looks like and how members observe the training pathway. So we've now got a more easily defined, more user-friendly description of the pathway to help members navigate their way through. In the longer term, we want to continue to develop what the training pathway looks like on members. And if I had was able to deliver on what I'd like to, it'd be great if we could have individual members, log in and identify where they sit on the pathway, what courses they need to achieve to reach the goals that they want to achieve. That's something that we're quietly working on, but that's going to be a fair way away before we can deliver on that. That'll be really exciting. I think it will really help guide members through their pathway. So that's it for a bit of a training update today. Fairly short and sharp. I know we're about to move pretty heavily into a summer season. We'll continue to be working on programs, particularly our IMT programs, and developing those and looking to start to schedule those into the new year. And I know our campuses and our members continuing to support operations will be the focus, while we're also working on our training development and training needs. So I'd like to thank the team for the year. It's been fairly full on, as most people know, around the training space. We're continuing to tick away and chip away at those things that are really important to our members, and we're trying to make training certainly a lot more accessible with our members' journey in mind. As I close off, I might mention, if I can, as the executive sponsor to International Day of People with Disabilities, I just want to take the opportunity to say a few words around International Day of Disabilities, which is the 3rd of December. It's a United Nations Day. It's observed internationally, and it aims to raise awareness around understanding and acceptance of people with disabilities. Disabilities that encompass a wide range of physical, mental, sensory impairments that impacts an individual's ability to participate fully in society. So for CFA, the voice of people living with disabilities is critical to emergency response. And our research shows that people with a disability are 2 to 4 times more likely to die in a disaster than the general population. And in Australia, nearly 1 in 5 people have a disability, and in 1 in 7 within the working age, 15 to 64. So as we get older, the rate of disability increases. So the day is an opportunity to be a part of creating an inclusive and diverse community for Australians with disability and celebrate their contributions and achievements in the community and with CFA. So I'd like to acknowledge the work that our members, particularly with disabilities, do for CFA and for their communities. And I encourage all of us to understand and to share a moment to try and support our members with disabilities a little bit further. Thanks, Chief. I'll pass back to you.
Thanks, Rohan, for that update and some really good information there. And I really want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of our people who have provided feedback to Rohan and the training team around the pathways and making sure that we're able to represent them in a way that makes sense to you, and also providing some feedback around the layout of the new website and what information you want, how you want to access it, and how it can be accessed easily. And my thanks to Beth Remshaw for pulling that all together and making it happen. As you can see here tonight, I think it'll be a great a tool for not only our brigade members, but our brigade training coordinators and group training coordinators. And I think we'll pop a link in the chat of where you can access that site on Members Online. Well, team, and welcome Tim Smith to the panel.
Thanks, Jason. Good evening.
Thank you. A couple of things here in the chat. I'd like to first say lots of shout outs to the DMOs. Really great comments around, yeah, there it is there on the screen. Your work saves lives and protects our people while they're out protecting Victorians. So I think it's greatly appreciated what you do. Maddison, you have some fans. A lot of people yeah, really giving their shout out and lots of love to you. So yeah, really well done to you. And I also wanted to touch on many questions in the chat around VESIP and VESIP announcements. What I can tell you is the moon won't be going around the Earth one more time until that announcement is made. So keep an eye out on the social media channels because I suspect a lot of you will be very excited very soon. Audience participation time. I think we have Eric with a question.
Eric Smith in Strath Creek, Reedy Creek. My question concerns the new ultralight crew protection systems. Many volunteers have observed varied and different results from testing the system, including total failure. Is there a plan for getting a more consistent result? And has it been considered to slow down the conversion of the Rangers until this has been figured out?
Great question, thank you. And that's technical in nature, Tim, so I reckon that's got you written all over it.
Probably has. Yeah, look, we're working with our engineering team who are working with our suppliers. We've identified, we've taken the feedback that we've got from our stakeholders when they've received the vehicles that have had the modifications. You know, we started with the Land Cruisers and we went through to the Nissans. We're now starting to work on the Rangers, as Eric pointed out, and we are very much taking on board the feedback that we've got. So there is a vast improvement in the quality of the product coming out now with the Ranger, and you know, we're working with our team to address some of the issues where we can that have been identified by.
And I think it's fair to say we got early feedback to some issues around the installation, quality of installations, and that was addressed very quickly with the suppliers and the contractors. Yeah, so, and I think the best bit of advice we have, Eric, I think, is keep that feedback coming in. You know, as Tim said, the team are very keen to see that and hear that. You know, it has been tested. We took, well, I didn't, you did, took the vehicle to Mogo and put it over the gas pad simulator under windy conditions and burnt the truck.
Yeah, there's a standard referential test that we have to use for every time we test a crew protection system, whether it be a water-based one, a foam-based one, and it's passed all those tests. And the Ranger that was the last one we tested, there was only a very small increase in cabin temperature. It was very successful, so we're very happy with the results of those tests. So yeah, we're looking forward to rolling this out to the rest of the Rangers and through production as we move forward.
And I think, again, Eric, you know, keep the feedback coming through. I guess from my perspective, up until we started rolling this program out, the reality was they had no crew protection at all. So, yeah, it is a bit of something's better than nothing.
And it's a layered approach too. It's not one you know, it's a crew protection system, but there's many layers within that system that are independent of each other that add to build up.
So the foam,
the foam,
the blankets, the
curtains,
the PPC.
Cool.
It's a layered approach. Yeah.
Correct. And look, we've been down to District 4. We've met with the District 4 volunteers down there that raised some concerns about the Nissan patrols, and we're working with them to address that, and we're working with VFBV from the feedback that we're receiving from them as well.
Well, thanks, Tim. Thanks, Eric. I know that's a bit a topic of conversation, so I think it's worth we're bringing it up and having that. So, yeah, please keep that feedback coming in. Rohan touched on at the end of his update there the International Day of People with Disability, and I know, Steve, you and I were having a bit of a chat earlier. That sort of really touches a spot for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, so thanks, Chief. This is the human side of being DMO, you know. DMO is probably my part-time job, but I'm a dad full-time. So I've got 2 girls, 7 and 9, and they've both got autism. My oldest has also got an intellectual disability and a range of other complex issues that we deal with day to day. So my wife is really, she's the cornerstone at home. She manages the NDIS. She knows that she's really, really good at that. Yeah, it's I think for me, being autism and an intellectual disability is something you can't see. So we need to understand that disability is not always something you can see or that's easily identifiable. So, and the other thing about disability is it's got the word ability in it. People have got an ability, so we should welcome them in our brigades, in our community, and they've all got something that they can contribute, and we can contribute to them and their lives. So yeah, I'm hoping as my girls grow up, they might join the fire brigade. Hopefully they'll be accepted, and there'll be a role for them to play within the brigade.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Steve. And it is important that we do recognise these days when they do come up. I know from time to time we get criticised for raising these things, but the reality is 52,000 people in our organisation, every single one of these days is going to mean something to one of our members at some point in time, whether it be them themselves or their family, whether it be the Rhodes family in Melton or, Steve, you this evening. So thank you for bringing that up. And Rohan, thank you for being the corporate sponsor for that reflective day. Well, back on the tools, as they say. Tim, a little while ago, a couple of years ago, in fact, we went and did a mid-year budget review, and there was a few things, I called it Christmas for the DMOs, that I managed to buy, and that was some hoists, but also some brake testers. Tell me about why having brake testing facility is important for our DMOs.
So each of our workshops now has a brake testing machine. One of them is not fitted because we hopefully be moving from that location soon, and they are installed into the ground in the workshop, so it's quite complex installation. So we've held off on the one at Moe, but all of our other workshops now have a brake tester in place. Really important for our team to maximise and be as efficient as they can, and this is just a really great tool for them, allow them to quickly assess the condition of the brakes and determine whether there's, an intervention needs to happen, or whether the brakes are good and we can move on. So it's been a bit of a game changer for them, and we were very appreciative of the funding that came our way to get this equipment.
Not a problem. Well, the team earlier today took opportunity to actually film a brake test being undertaken. And Steve, I think tonight you're going to talk us through the running commentary as we see the video about how the brake test is performed and what the operator is doing. So over to you, let's talk us through.
So pretty much every truck that comes into the workshop will have a brake test done, and that just gives us the confidence that the brakes are operating the way they're supposed to, and there's no underlying issues. They're bled properly, they're making contact with the drum, all that side of things. So you can see Chris is actually driving this thing forward onto the pad. The brake tester comes up with a stop, and then it gives us a reading of how those brakes. And the difference between the left and the right wheel on that one was 1%. So that tells us that the brakes on that front axle are going to pull up really, really cleanly and really evenly. Then we drive it forward, record that front axle, and then we drive forward and do the rear axle. and that'll give us the same result in the rear. So it's giving us the force in Newton meters. You can see that it's passed the test, so it's compliant. And it also stores that data, and we can print it out, we can leave it in the truck, but more importantly, that data's there for us. So at that point in time, we know that those brakes were compliant, they were doing everything they were supposed to do, and yeah, they were really good.
Well done. Well, thank you. Aside from myself getting caught there and passing a note, I got caught passing a note in class. So thanks for stepping us through that brake update there, Steve. What I was trying to do was get the Honourable Member for Infrastructure, Paul Santamaria, up to the microphone to ask him a few hard questions. I just noticed in the chat there's a lot of questions being asked this evening, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, Danny Jones is online, so you know what that means. Anything fleet related, give him a pepper. But Paul, question in here around any updates on how CFA is tracking with the project to replace existing or new structural PPC with the new PPC design. I know you and I were talking on the phone as we were driving here. Yep. To Seymour this afternoon. Do you want to give us a bit of an update?
Yeah, thanks, Chief, and thanks for the cheat notes. I hope the teacher doesn't grab us on that one. The new structural PPC, we are going to market early next year. There's a working group being established around an innovation piece, so we're very keen to understand what is working and perhaps what is also not working and what needs to be developed in that new design. So we're obviously got some commercial sensitivities with our existing suppliers, so we need to appreciate that. But yeah, we'll be looking to upgrade that throughout 2026 calendar year. And
while I've got you, women's boots and gloves.
Yeah, really exciting. This is a really special project for so many people, myself included. We are out to market at the moment. We expect those responses to come in at the end of next week. And then we're building a test group of about 12 to 15 women who will test those products over a period of about 4 to 6 weeks in all sorts of conditions, and then hopefully land on a very specific boot and glove that is designed for those very well-known and understood needs of women's physiology in the feet and hand space.
Cool. Thanks, Paul, for that update. Greatly appreciated. And I know that was an impromptu call to the microphone, so you've done well. Probably an impromptu question from the chat here as well for you, Steve. I'm very mindful it is the last volunteer forum for the year, so I am trying to get as much questions and the like in for our people as I can. David Reynolds says, brake testing, would love just to have a tanker without an air leak in the brake system. Have raised many complaints in CFA safes, but no response. What would be your advice there, Steve?
So air leaks are one of those things that's really difficult because, so roadworthy actually says that a truck must maintain its air above the red line and above the buzzer for 2 hours. So we're trying to get it for 2 weeks or thereabouts. So it's really difficult. The trucks are not actually designed to do that. But what you can do is we can bring a truck into the workshop, or we can go out in the field, identify an air leak, repair it, pump the air up, and then it's not 2 or 3 days until you work out where you've actually captured that air leak and fixed it, or there is another one, or there's something else going on. So yeah, air leaks are one of those things that take a long time. We can fix one, there may be another one, and by the time we've fixed all those ones, the first one can come back again. So yeah, look, it's a really hard thing to do. Some DMOs are really good at finding air leaks, same as coolant leaks, and some struggle. We've had them out in the wash bay, soaped them up, trying to find bubbles coming out of airlines, and yeah, it's really, really difficult. So yeah, but look, keep reporting it, and I understand you get in the truck, you want to go out, and you've got to pump the air up. It's really frustrating, and I understand that, but yeah, we'll keep coming back. That's what we do.
Thanks, Steve, and Paul, you'll be happy to hear that Maddie from SLC is also online answering many of the questions in that space, so you're off the hook for any further. Well, speaking of advancements, Leigh Marsh is here tonight to talk us through some of the advancements in the fire and equipment maintenance space. For a while now, we've been receiving complaints not only from our own people and FEM technicians, but our customers around our paper antiquated systems. And Leigh tonight will talk us through what bringing FEM in the 21st century is going to look like. So over to you, Leigh.
Across Victoria, more than 265 CFA brigades provide fire equipment maintenance services to local businesses and industry. These brigades play a vital role, visiting facilities to check fire extinguishers, fire blankets, hose reels and lay flat hose, ensuring they're ready for use when they're needed most. Right now, FEM administration relies on a manual, paper-based system generating around 95,000 documents every year. This outdated process leads to inefficiencies, data integrity issues and delays, leaving CFA almost 20 years behind current industry standards. That's about to improve. We're digitising FEM operations, moving away from paper-based processes to a fully digital system. This project includes a new field app for FEM brigade technicians and subcontractors, plus a customer portal for easier communication and service management. These improvements will streamline how we work, enhance the experience for our FEM brigades and enable us to better service existing customers with more efficient modern service. It also opens the door for new CFA brigades to get involved in providing FEM services. Our FEM field and administration team has been working closely with ICT services to bring this project to life. Together, we've engaged with FEM support teams, brigade officers, field technicians and various clients across Victoria to design a system that meets everybody's needs. Here's what CFA members can expect next. A fully digitised FEM process replacing paper workflows, improved efficiency and reduced administration burden, a mobile app for technicians and a dedicated portal for customers to manage work orders and requests, increased brigade participation through simplified processes. We're planning to go live toward the end of the year, starting with our FEM contractor group, with a progressive rollout to FEM brigades expected to be completed by July 2026. We look forward to keeping you updated throughout the rollout, and for more information visit the FEM System and Field App project page on Members Online.
Thanks, Leigh, for providing that important information. I think it was a real advance and step forward for not only our FEM brigades, our technicians, contractors, but importantly, our customers that have been asking for this technical solution for some time. So my thanks to yourself and the team and our ICT team for making that happen. Well, audience participation time again, and Chris Brockwell is up to the microphone to ask the hard questions.
Thanks, Chief. Chris Brockwell, Group Officer for Mitchell Shire here at District 12. Hot topic in our group at the moment is bulk water, and it's great that you brought it up this evening. Have we got more information about the activation of those state strategic bulk water? And then longer term, is there a strategy to put bulk water into every CFA district as a standard?
Great question. So couple of things that I can answer here this evening, and I know Gary Cook is watching tonight as well. So Gary, anything I do get wrong, you have absolute permission to put in the chat, call me out, and give the correct answer. So what we're doing with the strategic bulk water across the state is similar to what we do with aircraft and PDD. So depending upon the fire behaviour index, the vehicle will either be on a call when needed, so it'll be there, it'll get called, the driver will come to the vehicle and off they go. And as the FBI increases, that time to when the truck must be on the road and to your incident is shortened. So that on a total fireban day, for example, the driver must be with the vehicle ready to go when the call is needed. I do anticipate and understand it will be called for like you call for any other piece of equipment or resource, and that's via FICOM. Or through your DDO, and I'm looking at Sean, he's giving me a half nod, so I think I might have got that right. As I said, Deputy Chief Officer Cook will correct me if I'm wrong. I did touch on, as part of that government funding for this fire season, there will be $1 million for us to buy some bulk water capability and capacity. We're working through what that will look like, and ultimately what we're looking for is to create a legacy, and so that we can continue to build on the capacity and capability that we have across many districts. And part of that is considerations, Chris, to what do districts currently have, and how best can we make that investment to bolster capability across the state. So thank you for your question. Tim, so online participation now. I've got here Dan Williams, long time listener, first time caller. Any news on the pumper tanker replacement project?
So yes, we've got a little bit of news there, Chief. We're working closely, our engineering team's working closely with our colleagues at the South Australian Country Fire Service, and we're procuring a 3-4P, or 3-4P I think it is, and we've placed an order for a pump, and we've got a chassis, and we're looking at how to go about leveraging off the back of one of their contracts to get the body done. So we're hoping that very soon we'll have our very own new pumper tanker SA spec for us to evaluate.
And for some might remember that we brought that over and had it at the state championships this year.
We did, yeah. It was a slightly smaller version, so I think we're going for the 3,000 litre version, not the 2,000 litre version, is what I believe.
Excellent. So keep an eye out. Rather than reinventing the wheel, we're looking to see what our friends over the South Australian border have done, and once we get that in, we'll do the tour and the test and the trials, and with a bit of luck, we'll have a brand new pumper tanker spec for us to start rolling out across CFA. So thanks, Tim, for that update. Some of you might recall last week I sent an email or a message out wide across the state in respect to the release of the Volunteer Recruitment, Retention and Onboarding Review that I'd commissioned earlier in the year. This was based on feedback that I had got around some of the difficulties and challenges to the VHRH system, and generally some of the challenges to recruiting and onboarding our members into brigades. Well, that work has now been finished, and the report, as I said, was released last week. Now, it was a fairly meaty report by the consultant, but I just want to step you through a number of the recommendations. There were 16 in total that have been made, and as an organisation, we're going to accept all of those 16 recommendations, and I'll talk about how we're going to work through the management actions for that. But essentially, we're looking at things like clarifying roles and responsibilities and accountabilities across the volunteer life cycle, looking at our compliance systems and consider how better we can support prospective members through those checks, and we're getting a lot of feedback around whether it be our third-party provider to working with children or the Fit to Work police check thing. We've heard you. We're going to be working through that with the providers, and that's one of the recommendations there. Looking at how we apply our medical standards and which medical standards should be applied, and how we streamline that through for the type of membership that a person's wanting to come into the organisation to do. Streamlining approvals for junior members, streamlining and fast-track processes for people transferring brigades. So there's probably something for everyone in the recommendations. So if you haven't seen it, please keep an eye out. We are always looking for feedback. Now, what also is going to happen with this is very shortly, we are going to be releasing an options paper to our membership around the temporary volunteer membership model. These two reports and recommendations will sort of go hand in hand. So we've released the retention and onboarding, recruitment, retention and onboarding review. We'll be releasing the contemporary volunteer membership options paper. And then you're going to have a good couple of months to mull it over, think about it, talk about it with your brigades. We deliberately put them out over summer so that we know that's when brigades are likely to come together more often during fire season, so there's going to be more opportunity for our brigades to have a talk about what it means and then give feedback to that. When you do see the contemporary volunteer membership paper, you'll start to understand how the two do come together, because one will be looking at how do we recruit, retain and onboard our members, and what our new membership model might look like into the future. So please keep an eye out. We're genuinely wanting feedback from everyone across the organisation, and I am looking forward to, after fire season, coming back to you to present to you the management actions and how we propose to resolve the issues highlighted by those reports, and also provide you with the results and feedback from the contemporary volunteer membership options paper. So I look forward to presenting that to you in the new year. Well, International Volunteer Day is on the 5th of December, and the day's theme has been announced as Every Contribution Matters. This theme celebrates the power of collective action and acknowledges that every act of volunteering, big or small, contributes to a stronger and more connected world. We've got a number of people on the panel here. This is our DMOs and our infrastructure team on the panel here today. And Tim, you're a volunteer at Hurstbridge and a rural runner. I've seen you on the track, my friend. You're like flash lightning.
Well, yes. I don't really run, no. Just just compete is what we say.
Compete.
We compete, yeah.
You compete very hard.
So, no, I've been a volunteer for 44 years at Hurstbridge, and currently the first DGO at the Olympic group. So I really value my volunteering for the CFA. I really do feel it's very important for the community to have a volunteer emergency service supporting them, and being part of that's amazing.
No, thank you, and thanks for everything you do in your volunteer space, in addition to what you do in your career space. It's greatly appreciated. And Steve, Vale at Stratford?
Yeah, District 10. So it's interesting that, was it International Volunteer Day was the 5th of December, was it?
Yes.
Funnily enough, that's the day I tick over 30 years as a volunteer.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've been at quite a few brigades now around the state. As my career's moved, I've moved brigades, but it's just a fantastic thing to do as our volunteers here will say. It's so rewarding, and you only get back what you put in. So we've got a great bunch of people at Stratford. It's a great community, like all our communities in Victoria, and there's nothing like going to help somebody in their worst possible day and do it for nothing. You know, there's so much power in that. So, yeah, for anyone who's wanting to volunteer, the Chief's just said it's going to be easier to join up. So go to your local brigade.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the plug, ladies and gentlemen. And Riley, member at Talangi.
Yeah, so I've been at Talangi now for 10 years. I started as a junior and progressed through the levels and turned 16. Did a general firefighter course and yeah, been operational since then and been to some jobs and being a DMO, you get to out to see the stations and you get to meet the people. But being a Vole and looking after some of the brigades locally to home, you get to know those members on a more personal level.
Mm-hmm.
And having that connection between volunteer and DMO, you get to know them. They want something done, or I just put a fold in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, it's through the process. But it's just somebody gives you a ring. Oh, can you this is happening? Oh, just put a fold in.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you think it gives you a greater appreciation to looking after the equipment because you know, I guess, firsthand how it's used and some of the experiences?
And yeah, like you said, Steve, you got to turn out to somebody who's having their worst day. You got to rely on those trucks and working on these trucks. You got to, and being in the boots of a volunteer, you got to know that pump's got to start up. The low level's got to work. Crew protection's got to work. Truck's got to start and go out the door.
Absolutely. Now, being Talangi, your captain has another dual hat role in the CFA.
Yes, Dawn.
Dawn, yeah. And so those that may not know, Dawn Hartog is also a CFA board member. So how does it feel to sort of have the captain and the board member all in one?
Dawn's been great for us. She's done so much in the years as captain, and she's got fingers in all the pies, and she does. She's running around. I can't imagine how busy her life is, doing an astronomical amount of work, and she doesn't get enough appreciation.
Well,
I remember when she found out she had a AFSM award. She said she doesn't deserve it, and I said, well, really, you do. You do a lot more than what people see behind the scenes. So.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, Dawn. Appreciation from one of your members, but I've got to say from all of us here at CFA that, and I think, as you said, the Australian Fire Service Medal recipient, likewise, our friend on the end there, Tim, as a recipient, well deserved, and just goes to show the level of respect that we have for those people that really make large contributions to our organisation. But speaking of board, the board this year made a concerted effort to make sure that it didn't just meet in the boardroom in Burwood. They wanted to get out, see our people, speak to our people, and really understand what it's like on the front line. And on the screen there you see this evening is a number of locations this year that the board did go out and hold regional board meetings, whether it be in Dunkeld in May, Ballarat in April, it was Balan in June, Warren Ponds in July, Shepparton, March, obviously the championships, and then as late, or recently should I say, as Monday in Lakes Entrance. And I know the board really do appreciate hearing from our volunteers, sitting down, sharing a meal, having some fellowship, and really getting to understand what it means to be a volunteer in our organisation and what they can do as the highest authority in our organisation in order to support management and support our volunteers in doing what you do best, and that's protecting our Victorian communities. Well, we had a bit of a chat today about men's mental health, but I think men's health more broadly is sometimes a bit of a difficult conversation piece to have. And I know, Tim, you've had a bit of an experience with that yourself, haven't you?
I have, Jason, yeah. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer when I was 41. And I guess being a prostate cancer survivor, I can reflect back on that time and think about you know, the challenges that I had at the time. And I think what stood out for me the most during that period of time was that you're the person who's responsible for your health. No one's normally going to come and tell you what to do. And I guess if you think that something's not right, men aren't very good at this, but if you think there's something that's not right, you need to go and get some professional advice. In my case, I had no symptoms. I was lucky. I had a GP who was a bit on the front foot, and I said, I'm getting old, I'm 41. What should I do in terms of, you know, my health going forward? And they said, well, let's start with a blood test and we'll do a PSA check as a baseline, not thinking it was going to be through the roof as it was. And yeah, it saved my life. So yeah, I think my message to people, and particularly men, is you're the one that's in control. You're in charge of your health. You need to make those decisions, and yeah, it's one of those things.
And I think for anyone that that is in, there we go. I was a bit worried. We were a bit blurry there for a bit. You know, if anyone is worried about their health or physical or mental well-being, and don't quite know where to go, you can actually. We have services in CFA.
We do, yeah. We have plenty of help available there. There's some really good resources there, and we don't have to do it alone, but we need to make sometimes the first step, and reaching out to those services that we provide at CFA is a really good start.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing, Tim, and again, Steve, thank you for sharing for yourself. As I said, as men, it's not something we're well renowned for doing, and I think that's what.
Annual service inspection check.
Get your grease and oil change. Yeah, that's it. Well, must admit I did that last week. So yeah, it is something that we need to do. So if you are out there and you are worried or considered or think there might be something going on, as you've heard it here tonight, see something, say something, have a chat to people, and we do have those services in CFA as well through the member wellbeing team. So if you are, if you are worried about anything, please reach out. Well, before I wind up this evening, because I'm going to wind up a little bit differently than normal, I do, as always, want to thank our panellists. Maddison, thank you for coming on this evening. I know you were very nervous. It wasn't that bad, was it?
No, really wasn't.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve, for coming along. Riley, thank you. Tim. Our other Dan, thanks for coming on. For Paul Santamaria and the team. As always, to the team behind the desk, thank you for making this happen here in Seymour this evening. Well, I am going to end tonight's show on a little bit of a different note, and unfortunately and sadly, a sad note. Earlier this week, we were advised by the Chief Officer of the Country Fire Service of the passing of a volunteer firefighter in the line of active duty, Mr. Peter Curtis of the CFS, who unfortunately was found unresponsive on the fire ground during an operational deployment and couldn't be revived. So tonight we say to you, Peter, Vale, and we will end this evening with a memorial to him and a minute's silence. So thank you and good evening.